With its jury of archetypal 1950s New Yorkers, the classic film 12 Angry Men dramatized how different types of people come together to make one momentous binary decision, guilty or no. It set the cinematic standard for the pursuit of justice against the vagaries of human psychology, as 11 others, a salesman, a stockbroker, a high school football coach, each of them in their own way distracted or bigoted or sensitive or easily influenced, came around one by one to the view of Juror 8, played by Henry Fonda, who was at first the only one to consider innocence. But much has changed since 1957. Here, the National Post illustrates 12 modern archetypal jurors, whose attitudes are carefully studied by defense and Crown lawyers, and whose psychological personalities and demographic backgrounds drive key decisions in Canadian justice. The Boomer Juror. This person is in their 70s, from a generation that had low trust in authority and saw much social upheaval but came through it okay. A youthful radical, they are now content. They illustrate the extreme end of the spectrum that guilty verdicts tend to increase with juror age. The Millennial Juror. An adult in their 30s who still retains the idealism and inexperience of youth. They are more trusting in authority than the boomer. As one source puts it, young people, quote, may not have the depth of experience required to understand that things are not always as they seem. The woke authoritarian juror. Cynical, on the lookout for their familiar sense of injustice, and assuming that courts are engaged in systemic discrimination against Black and Indigenous people. This person is young, indignant, an activist, maybe wears a COVID mask. The anti-authoritarian conspiracist juror. On the lookout for their familiar sense of injustice. They assume that courts are engaged in systemic discrimination against white people. This person is likely middle-aged, breezily self-confident, proudly unvaxxed. The highly educated man. A tweedy academic, highly accomplished and wealthy, forever thinking, sees reasonable doubt as a philosophical exercise. This person is from a demographic group considered the least likely to convict. The distracted juror. Not stupid, but not good at paying slow, constant attention, as is required on a jury. Looks around out of curiosity, daydreams, doodles, takes note of who is in the courtroom, even when it doesn't matter. The school teacher. Not necessarily a school teacher, but gives that impression. Well-behaved, neatly presented, likes rules, logical and ordered in their thinking, but rigid and uncompromising, and sympathetic to the prosecution. They can persuade others. The subject matter expert juror. Not a know-it-all, but someone who knows a lot about some aspect of the case that's going to be important. This person is a nerd and properly smart, and dangerous to the prosecution. The forceful personality. The captain of the football team, the queen bee, the big man on campus, the naturally charismatic leader. Attractive, confident, a know-it-all, they are someone accustomed to taking charge of a group and guiding the work and thoughts of others. The impoverished juror. This person is down on their luck, perhaps suffering and sympathetic to others in despair, often a good defense juror for accused in a similar deprived position. The reluctant juror. This person does not want to be there. They are compelled by legal obligation or duty. The time off work is an outsized inconvenience, regardless of their compensation. In this person, resentment can become detachment, impatience can become carelessness, which can be bad for both prosecution and defense. The eager juror. The keener, the true crime podcast enthusiast, the one to whom much of a judge's advice is directed. Don't take your notes home. Don't Google the case. Don't visit the crime scene. Don't post about it on social. They are keen to obey, but so excited that it is hard.